Okay, good evening in the Philippines to our listeners, to our podcast, and welcome to our first episode of the year here at Asia Pacific Insights, where defense and security issues are discussed thoroughly involving the Philippines and its allies. So for today, for tonight, I'm joined by Army Colonel Dencio Ako, a graduate of the U.S. Military Academy in 1983, and a veteran defense reporter, no? Rodney Haleco, who is now based in Washington, D.C. For today, I think we should discuss uh, the biggest, no, security issues affecting the world, not only the Philippines, and we can look at them in the lens of the Philippines. Like, for instance, the protest in Iran, what happened in Venezuela, and Trump's obsession with Greenland, and why it will affect the Philippines, no? This situation. So I would like to invite Colonel Ako to for his opening statement on these issues. Thank you, Colonel Ako. Please, pwede ka lang simula.
Thank you, Manny. And good morning and good evening to all viewers and listeners sa podcast natin. As introduced by Manny, maraming ang pag-uusapan. So I think it's both interesting and kind of worrisome for all of us in the world. So I'm looking forward to a interesting and healthy discussion for this episode.
Oh, thank you.
Manny.
Rodney, what's your take, no? Rodney.
I think itong the most the latest driver of what's going on was visible in Davos, no? The World Economic Forum sa Switzerland. Now, when President Trump spoke about the kind of gave the meat to yung plano niya about Greenland, no? And in the process he may have alienated his biggest ally, no, in NATO. Kasi it's a really contentious issue that shouldn't have been raised in the first place. Kasi that's something they have a mutual defense treaty with Greenland. So lahat yan sana na pag-uusapan eh. But anyway, yun lang. It just illustrated the kind of chaos that the US under President Trump has created in international relations, in security, even in the security infrastructure. Kasi now medyo nakakast into question yung reliability of the US, the strength of alliances, and in a way this will affect the Philippines kasi we are dependent on these alliances. Ano, di ba? We are our deterrence strategy is partly anchored on being able to draw in coalition partners in opposing yung Chinese aggression in the South China Sea. So I guess yan ang driving force, no? I guess that will be part of our topic for this podcast. So let's get into it. Medyo mahaba-haba, marami-raming pag-uusapan.
Mm-hmm. So yung what Trump was saying, why he is taking over Greenland, no, is that it will be part of the Golden Dome ballistic missile strategy, no, na to defend the US. At the same time, he was saying that Russia and China may take over Greenland, no? Do you think this hold water na meron talagang threat sa Greenland and the Greenland could stop Russia and China from invading Greenland and using it as a cover for missile defense? What can you say about that, Colonel Akop?
It was very interesting actually when yung if you saw or if the world saw yung interview of the former US ambassador to Greenland when he said na there is absolutely no need for the US to invade Greenland kasi even with just the existing treaty 1951, same year na meron tayong treaty also with the US, the Mutual Defense Treaty, that has been in effect even before President Trump. And sinasabi ng ambassador na bakit kailangang i-violate ng US yung international rule of law. Samantalang magagawa naman niya yung gusto niya gawin even with the defense umbrella na nabanggit mo, Manny, even with the existing status quo. So there is absolutely no need to to invade another country which might be creating a bigger problem. Kasi the US is now acting like a belligerent like Russia did in Ukraine, di ba? And is now preempting even China in towards invading Taiwan eventually kasi baliktad nga nangyayari ngayon. China na ngayon nagko-caution na US na daw ang nagba-violate ng international rule of law. Of course, honestly, if you ask me, honestly, if you ask me, syempre, we also know na China does not really mean what it says when it says that. You know, syempre, magaling ang China sa Sun Tzu strategy. It's basically saying anything that favors its national security and national interest position relative to its competitors, especially the United States. Pero pag siya naman ang umaatake o nagva-violate ng international rule of law like in the South China Sea, di ba, against the Philippines, hindi niya inaamin, syempre. Puro, sa madaling salita, I mean, dati-dati diplomatically, we wouldn't even say that states are lying. But now, you know, it's become a foreign policy. Lying, you know, outright lying. Kahit na may mga pruweba na may nangyaring banggaan sa West Philippine Sea, it's outrightly denied by China. Kahit na mga witnesses. So hindi rin reliable what I'm trying to say. Yung sinasabi ng China, of course, no? But my point is, the US is beginning to act like China also and Russia. Samantalang we always thought that the strength of US is it's always been traditionally the leader of the free world, the Western world, the rule-based international order, moral law pa nga di ba? Ganyan. So all of these are radically changing under President Trump. So yung totoong pakay sa Greenland, it's a big question mark. Even if that is said, but like I said, that is already easily debunked by yung sinabi ng former ambassador ng US sa Greenland, di ba? So what really is the true intent, di ba? Kailangan ba talaga yon, or is it purely psychological warfare being employed by a superpower like the United States directed towards China? Na, hey, China, you know, you are challenging us. We have this capability. So, kaya namin, kung magkakagyera, we're ahead of you. Maybe, sa reading ko lang, all of these things, whether it was Iran, Venezuela, or now Greenland, the indirect target of all of this, I think, as far as the United States is concerned, is China, of course. Ang tingin ng Amerika sa China is that we will try to provoke you and siguro force you to reveal your cards while you are still relatively weaker than us militarily. China may be stronger than the United States now economically, but militarily, Trump is like forcing the issue na sige, gumalaw kayo China militarily because we would rather siguro confront each other now that we are still relatively stronger militarily rather than for us to wait for you to become stronger. I think that's the real ano dito eh. And Greenland pero I also think na meron ding there's a little bit also of a personality angle with regards to President Trump. His charisma, personality, and everything is like, the world hasn't seen anything like it since Adolf Hitler. So now all of a sudden, yung impact ni President Trump, di ba? It's impacting the entire world. He's challenging everything. He's like turning everything upside down on its head. Including the United Nations coming up with his own Board of Peace. Imagine that, no? And I would like to repeat yung sinabi ng mga think tanks natin, like Maddox of Chatham House. He said, the end of Western Alliance yung nangyayari, yung nakita sa Davos, no? And yung sinabi ng UN Secretary General also, Antonio Guterres, he said, the United Nations Charter is a compact which binds us all. All countries must adhere to it fully and faithfully. And that is now being challenged by President Trump. And that, to me, that is so ironic and even puzzling because that strengthens America. Yung ginagawa ni President Trump, kabaliktaran eh. Lahat na ginagawa niya, I think is weakening America. Ang strength ng America ever since is the international rule of law. At saka yung UN, it's a big founder, author of the prevailing international order, including the United Nations. So now, for it to all of a sudden turn its back on it, including NATO, the United States cannot take on the world alone. Baliktad eh. It's going back to how China was before, an isolationist. And the US is doing that now. Militarily, strongest siguro ang US, but economically, delikado eh. Even yung tariff war ng Trump is, actually, it's the Americans who are paying the price for that. So, I think down the road, in the weeks ahead, months ahead, we will see the backlash of all of this. And it will not be good for America.
Okay. So, Rodney, what's your take?
Yeah, I concur with Colonel Acop, no? This will not be good for America in the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term. So, sometimes it's so difficult to read into the mind of Donald Trump, no? Sabi nga nila, that's not a nice place to go into, yung mind ni Donald Trump, because just I think the other day he insulted yung mga allies niya, no, by saying na they were yung coalition partners sa Afghanistan did not really fight there, no? Yung sabi ni Trump malayo raw sa front line to mga British, to mga Danish, yung mga coalition partners, when in fact the first and only time na na-invoke yung Article 5 sa NATO Charter was the US asking for help to fight in Afghanistan, ano? And hundreds of foreign troops, yung mga British, yung Denmark na Trump is arguing with over Greenland has the highest per capita casualty rate in Afghanistan, no? Madami silang nalagasan sila dun sa Afghanistan, and yet parang dinidiminish ni President Trump yung contributions nila. So, isipin mo, ano naman ang masiserve ng purpose ng gano'n, ini-insulto mo yung mga allies mo, no? So, it's whatever the motivation of President Trump, the end result, the net result would be to weaken, if not dismantle these alliances, no? Kasi alam mo, sa akin sometimes you have to think of the background of President Trump. He has no military experience, di ba? Draft dodger yan eh. He dodged the serving in the army during the Vietnam War. And you have to remember when he was asked who his favorite general was, he said it's George Patton, no? Yung si General George Patton ng World War II pa. So he is not really familiar with the workings of the modern military, and in the face of that, he saw how the U.S. was so overwhelming, no? In Iran, when he ordered the bombing, when si Maduro was arrested, no? And in a raid that virtually crippled yung Venezuelan defenses, no? Which is incidentally Chinese supplied. So in a way, it is an indictment of the quality of Chinese military equipment, no? Anyway, beside the point, but it may have convinced President Trump that he doesn't need partners, he doesn't need alliances, because whatever he wants, he can achieve simply by American force of arms, no? Kasi parang, I think he is now convinced that the U.S. Army, the U.S. military is irresistible, no? It's invincible. So he doesn't need friends, he doesn't need partners. So that, I don't know, for me, it's a dangerous mindset to go into the future conflicts, no? Especially with China. If ever it comes to that, I don't think even the US can do that alone.
Marami akong pwedeng idagdag dun sa mga sinabi mo, Rodney.
Yeah.
You touch on so many points that can be expanded. You know.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, like for example, yung I agree also. Precisely. Alam naman natin na wala ngang military, hindi lang military experience, kulang sa government experience si Donald Trump. He's di ba, his career was mostly private sector. Wala naman siyang, he's not a government person. So he brings to the table in the White House yung kanyang background in real estate. Kaya siguro ang tingin niya sa Greenland, malaking real estate eh.
Gold
Dagdag sa teritoryo ng Amerika, just like Canada and Mexico, di ba? Parang simple lang eh. So I think it's becoming obvious na, and I think sometimes, pero this I have to say, no, maswerte si Donald Trump as an individual eh, kasi kaya siya parang seemingly invincible siya because he happens to be elected as the president of the most powerful country in the world, di ba? Siyempre for reasons na gusto ng mga bumoto sa kanya, especially the Republican Party. So they have their reasons, and siguro nakita talaga nila na Donald Trump is the candidate who will be able to deliver for them, right? Relative to the others. Kaya lang, meron ding drawback eh. There's also a downside eh. Yun nga, it's a gamble because he doesn't have government experience, he's a draft dodger, and lumalabas yung kanyang mga, and to me, parang ano tuloy yung nangyari, di ba? Parang to make up for those inadequacies or weaknesses, ang style ni Donald Trump is yung populist yung mga populist na di ba? Na galaw or remarks that get the imagination of domestic Americans who echo yung kanyang mga ginagawa. We saw that in our own country under President Duterte, right? People na kahit na anong sabihin ng leader kahit na parang medyo alanganin okay. Parang ganun din So I think Donald Trump is able to he benefits from the strength of the America even with his weaknesses, I think. So maswerte siya in that sense, but that can only last. I think pagkatapos ng term ni Donald Trump, lalabas na yung mga adverse impact of all of his failed domestic and foreign policies, and that will be seen down the road. Siyempre hindi pa nakikita ngayon kasi it's still ongoing eh. Tsaka ginugulo siya but if you look at it doesn't really make sense. Instead na maayos yung galaw, ginugulo ng ginugulo, di ba? So ano yun? So siguro inaayos lang ng Republican Party or his because the Americans, the American institutions are hard institutions. They happen to be very mature, very namamasahe pa nila yan eh, but they can only do so much, I think. Pero malaking bagay yung experience in government service, and I think for Donald Trump to disregard yung mga advices ng mga experienced people in his government, including the seasoned generals, for instance, di ba? I think that's a big mistake. It's just like Hitler na not listening to his competent generals during World War II. Same is true with other economic or foreign policy areas. Pagka yung sinabi mo nga, Rodney, na masyadong may pagka-diktador nga si Juan. In fact, he doesn't even hide it. Sinasabi niya na kailangan natin ng authoritarianism ngayon, sabi niya, di ba? So that is what is needed today. It has its benefits, sabi niya ganon. Another point that I would like to comment on is yung sinabi niya na might is right. We're going back to might is right international relations. Actually, delikado yan eh. It's like saying na he welcomes another global war. Di ba? Because that is what might is right leads to. Might is right, natapos yan ng World War II eh. Kaya nga nagkaroon ng United Nations, di ba? In order to prevent a third world war. Puro peace, liberal or idealist international relations ang dapat na international relations ng mundo, and that is the one that is being promoted by the United Nations. What is that? What is a liberal or idealistic approach? That is, wag tayong mag-away. Let's gather around the table, all stakeholders, and let's talk. So yung might is right naman, yun yung kabaliktaran na, hindi, wala nang usap-usap. Basta yung mga powerful, they will dictate upon the weak. So yun ang ngayon ang sinasabi ng US. So again, I think US is reinforcing Russia and China in this regard. And yun nga, and at the same time turning his back on the idealistic alliances like the NATO. Ganyan. Yung mga dati nga na nag-adapt na ng peace like Japan, which became very peace-loving after World War II thanks to General MacArthur, di ba? Pero ngayon, wala na, back on the warpath na naman yung Japan just to defend themselves against China.
Yeah.
And Russia and si Donald Trump is also part of the reason why, because wini-withdraw niya yung suporta ng ng Amerika, di ba? So he's now forcing the other allies na ay kayo itaas ninyo yung mga defense ninyo, budget ninyo kasi masyado kayong nagre-rely sa amin. Puro ganon, di ba? So we're seeing a world leadership ngayon na para bang narcissistic talaga. Parang it's all about Donald Trump, but parang to hell with the world. So it's very strange. It's very weird. It's very destructive. I think yung mga powerful individuals and institutions in America are doing a lot of damage control. Kaya nandyan pa si Trump. But I think it can only go so far. I really fear for yung consequence which will be war, and I lagi kong sinasabi na even if the leaders think na war, even nuclear will not happen because everyone is into just below threshold of war foreign policy. Pero you'll never know once na might is right ang over di ba, overarching umbrella, and that is where the world will lead to eventually. without going into details.
So, Colonel, no, parang ang nakita ko, Donald Trump is throwing away the rules-based order, no? What I want to ask the two of you is, what are the implications for the Philippines? How are we going to be affected by these changes in the world order? Can we still rely on the U.S. as a reliable ally in the South China Sea and other issues?
I think
Rodney,
dualistic yung... Sige, yeah. Go ahead, Roddy. Ikaw muna.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can looking into that question, Manny. Parang na-recall ko yung sinabi ni Prime Minister Carney, no, ng Canada, do sa Davos, no, na yung old alliances cannot be relied upon at now, kasi yun nga, na-disrupt nga because of what's going on in the US, no? So as far as the Philippines is concerned, ang pinopropose ni Carney was that we have to ally ourselves with like-minded, no, yung values-based. So among the possible partners of the Philippines, the US, despite its faults, no, despite Donald Trump, is still the closest we can find to our own values, no. We share the same values, which we cannot say with China, no. Konti, if ever man, na meron na may sinishare tayo mga common interests or common values with China. So the US remains to be the indispensable security partner for the Philippines. But I think Carney has opened the door for countries to evaluate their own alliances, no? And the US is not the only country in the world that has commonality in values with the Philippines, no? Let's say Japan, Australia we share the same basic values, no? So human rights, respect for law, yung rules based, no? We still adhere to that, even if the US will not, no? So yun ang dapat na lapitan ng Philippines, na to forge alliances with those countries, no, yung like-minded countries. And I think there are a lot of them who would be willing to partner with the Philippines in countering a threat, no, coming from China. So, but I think the US assistance to the Philippines in terms of weapons and and other support, training, I think it will continue because the US needs that. It's not the Philippines that really needs it. The US needs that. They need to develop a support base near the possible conflict area, which is I guess everybody believes it's Taiwan, no? So the Philippines is in a sense captive to that. Wala tayong magagawa doon. We can take advantage of that by strengthening our own defensive capabilities with US assistance. Pero to rely 100% on the US after everything that has happened the last few months, I think that would be like foolhardy, and ill-advised. So kailangan sa akin mag-isip na mabuti, tsaka take away the emotions, no? Pag-isipan na mabuti.
Correct. So thank you. Colonel, what's your take?
It's a bit weird na galing kay Canadian leader yung yung sabihin na Philippines, maghanap ka ng kapareho mo ng values na ano, because right now even Canada is opening up to China. Sila na yung magiging major ally ng ano ng China eh. So does that also mean that the values of Canada are now di ba? Aligned with China's? Parang mahirap na ngayon sabihin yung mga ganyan eh. I think it's all money and power in the end really. Pero dagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Rodney. I think there's also one ano na i-analyze natin tungkol kay Donald Trump eh. I think he's also a puppet of his puppeteers in America. Powerful ano tawag mo sa ganun, mga powers behind the throne
Vested interest.
in America. We really do not know who these people are. We just know that, they must be billionaires, they are wealthy, they are powerful, they are members of the Republican Party or what have you. So, having said that, I think yung sa Asia Pacific region, including the Philippines, I think all of those that advance American interest with its allies in the Asia Pacific, nandiyan pa rin yan. Even if parang it could make the allies doubt because of the remarks of Donald Trump. But then again, if you analyze the remarks of Donald Trump even before, he's always been like that. He says para siyang he doesn't really speak in diplomatic language or the middle ground kind of thing, right? It's always all or nothing. It's always extremist. Yung black or white, ganyan eh. And then pagka lumabas na yung mga mainstream arguments, especially as briefed by his experts, nagba-backtrack siya. Just like Greenland, di ba? Parang gano'n eh. So I think it's the same with Indo-Pacific region. I think yung major interest, kasi the America will have nothing to gain if it leaves behind its allies in the Asia Pacific or Indo-Pacific. Makikita naman natin na na even personally parang competitor talaga ang tingin ng Amerika at saka ni Donald Trump kay China. That's why it's done what it's done in Venezuela. 'Di ba? Hitting yung ang tingin niya sa Venezuela ito yung napasok na ng China ang Venezuela and Venezuela is right at our back door. So push back against against China. So the enemy, the main sa tingin ko dito is really China. So I think Donald Trump is para siyang he's the spearhead, he's the tip of the iceberg. Pero 'di ba papakagatin niya bombastic ang dating, he will rock the boat vigorously and then backtracks, 'di ba? Okay, slap 200% tariff. The following day it's wala na. Just like Greenland, NATO, di ba? Di ba? Don't you see that strategy on the part of Donald Trump? So Donald Trump is like the unstable leader, but he is being stabilized by the powers behind the throne, I think. I think yung alliances, yung First Island chain, I think will be there in case there's going to be a shooting war with China. I think wala naman choice yung America. It has to abide. Wala siyang ibang galaw eh. Alam nga namang it will not do anything, right? Because even if it doesn't do anything, its allies will do something. Japan, South Korea, for instance. Taiwan, definitely. And kung hindi gagalaw even the Philippines, Rodney, kahit papaano may mga ibang alay. Lumapit naman ang Philippines sa ibang allies eh. Australia, even some of the NATO powers. These are allies of the Philippines now. Even Japan. So I think the card is still on, even if the language is a little bit shaky, and I think that's part of the American strategy using Donald Trump. I think.
Yeah. Do you know that si Trump and Xi Jinping will meet in April, no? I'll bet, no, na magbabago na naman yung sitwasyon after that meeting. Magkakaroon na naman ng change of, alam mo, yung hindi aksidente na nabansagan si President Trump na tako di ba? So, siya in a way, maganda yon because he's shown an ability to pull back, no, from his most absurd ideas. So,
Yeah. Di ba?
and I think sa akin, no, yung Philippines should not be so precluded from pursuing other avenues of contact with China, no. Hindi dahil magkaaway tayo, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-cooperate in areas where
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yung ano na yung no, yung like for example, ngayon 'di ba, they gave ano ba yun, visa-free tourist privileges, parang gano'n, no?
14 day, 14 day.
For China.
14 day free visa.
14 day, yeah. That's an opening gambit, I think, no? We'll
Yeah.
see where that leads to. Pero I will say na talagang unreliable ang China in that regard. Pero it still doesn't stop us, no? We will see. We will give them always the benefit of the doubt, no? That's what I believe in. As far as international relations are concerned, you just have to look and pursue where your interests converge, where you can get some benefit from that relationship.
May value yung may value yung exposure. If you get exposed to your even your adversaries, 'di ba? Even si Donald Trump, usap sila ni Xi Jinping kahit na anything can happen after that, but still ang nangyayari kasi ngayon, the only difference between now and then, nung araw parang may honor system, may liberal kasi yung IR, international relations. So kung ano yung napag-usapan, napagbitawan, talagang yun it is expected na yun ang mangyayari. Pero ngayon, nabago na lahat yun eh. So unreliable na ngayon. Pero there is still a value to engaging your adversary, di ba? Kasi diyan mo siya na napapakiramdaman. I think that's
in the last 3 weeks, no, Donald Trump was acting on behalf of the U.S. national security interest, no, in Venezuela, in Greenland, in Iran, and other parts of the world, no. Do you think that the national interest of the Philippines intersects with the U.S. or it's drifting apart?
Sino? Ikaw muna, Rading, go.
Colonel.
yung Amerikano muna. Sige.
Sa akin yung Philippines saka US, they're still on parallel tracks, no? Even after everything that President Trump has done and the chaos he has generated, no, from his recent decisions, I think may convergence pa rin eh. So parallel tracks pa rin. There is a common interest, no, in so many areas, in security, in economics, in kahit na human-to-human relations lang eh. Nag-ano pa rin eh, parallel pa rin sila eh. Even if nagka-crackdown dito yung ICE against the unauthorized, yung illegal, undocumented immigrants, where the Filipinos are concerned, medyo ingat sila eh. Ingat pa rin ng US eh. Hindi yung parang binabastos lang ng, i-compare that with the some of the South Americans na who were arrested, summarily, deported, and they went through so much humiliation, mga ganon. At least parang makikita pa rin natin na nag-iingat ang Pilipinas at ang US sa relationship na yon. They want to maintain that close relationship. And they're making an effort to do that. So, yun visible yun.
Yeah. Kamukha nung sinabi ko kanina, I think for me, my take is that, I don't think na kahit na medyo shaky kung minsan yung binibitawang salita ni President Trump or yung ginagawa nila parang even in their latest national security strategy na parang kunwari hindi nababanggit yung Philippines, it does not necessarily mean na wala na yung Philippines. I think it's, like I said, I think it's still there. Wala naman nabago because ang value ng Philippines kasi is just by its geopolitical location in the world, it is right smack in the middle ng ng South China Sea and the Pacific Ocean. And parang siya yung buffer zone between di ba? Between the American zone and the Chinese zone basically. So very strategic yung Philippines. Kaya lang pero alam ng Amerika yung weakness ng Philippines eh. Alam nila na America knows our weaknesses. So syempre nalalaro din nila tayo and they know na we can't do anything about it because we are, especially now relative to China, talagang dependent tayo sa US kasi domestically pa lang delikado si President Marcos kung hindi siya suportahan ng Amerika, baka mamaya domestic pa lang wherein China is also at the back of the Vice President in the Philippines, baka di ba, so makita mo yung interplay between the domestic and international ng Philippines. Alam din ng Amerika yun, syempre. So nilalaro nila yon, but I think the Philippines is still an asset, an essential ally to America and vice versa. And especially in the run-up to a Taiwan invasion, if there is to be one, and as far as we know, if we read yung pronouncements of the Chinese Communist Party, Xi Jinping, makikita natin na talagang hindi rin nila tinatago yun na they would like to regain back Taiwan by 2027. Sinasabi nila mismo yun eh. So and kahit China is employing two tactics now, both diplomatically and militarily. Militarily, parang it is encouraged by the actions of even the US in Iran, Venezuela, and even yung balak sana nila sa Greenland. So as far as that is concerned, siguro if you are Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party, you will feel na green light, di ba? Tapos on other spheres naman, parang diplomatically speaking, yung China is using double standards, di ba? Two voices. It is not really in favor of the international rule of law, I think. It's not really in favor of whatever international relations policy there is. It is only in favor of China. It is only in favor of the Chinese Communist Party. So, pagka pabor sa interest ng Chinese Communist Party yung ginawa ng Amerika sa Venezuela and Greenland, syempre sasabihin niya international rule of law, di ba? Pero pag against national interest niya yung protest ng the hundreds of protests of the Philippines in the West Philippine Sea, then it denies outrightly, kumbaga sa kanya, international rule of law, kuno pa rin siya even if it has actually undermined it. So yung when I wrote an article